Hi guys, I'm Shmi and welcome to the start of a fairly international couple of days joining BMW and BMW M at the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Now the Nürburgring is in Germany. We're currently in Milan, Italy, so let me explain what is going on. Before we get to the N24, I am joining BMW for a presentation this evening ahead of Villa d'Este that also happens at the same weekend, where they're going to be unveiling something fairly special later on that we'll be showing you. But to get there, to get up to Lake Como for the presentation from the airport where we are now ahead of the flight to Frankfurt tomorrow, we're going to be driving in the 7 Series. So we've got the M760Li, the 750i, the 750LD that is just pulling out now, and a 750D at the back. We're going to be jumping into one of these cars for the drive. It's about an hour or so up to Lake Como before flying tomorrow to Frankfurt to drive the M4 CS that I'll be able to share with you in a few days. But basically tonight is the start of this magnificent BMW weekend. So let's get rolling in the car up to Lake Como. It's going to be the 750i for me, so let's jump in. Be nice to have some air conditioning, thank you very much. Here we are inside the car, heading up towards Lake Como, and check out this view. Gorgeous area here. I've naturally got the seat cooling rolling. Keep myself as cool as possible here. Full power definitely, but comfortable, gentle cruise up towards our destination, past the most amazing views you could imagine. So this is where we are coming to then. The presentation is in here this evening. There goes the 750LD, extended wheelbase, L for long, naturally, and our 750i that we've been driving, but we'll head inside and get ready for this. Welcome to the scene for tonight's presentation then, where later on the stage at the back over there is going to be the launch of the new BMW 8 Series concept. But first, let's take a little look around this display that BMW have put on here, the history of the sort of coupe for them, starting with the 327/28 Sport Coupe, as the placard here says, the beginning of the BMW coupe tradition. We've got the BMW 503 here, 503 Coupe, first big BMW luxury coupe. Bit of a learning lesson for me as I go around the 3200 CS. And then, if I keep squeezing through, we get to the old M8. A bit of a beast with a 6-litre V12, 550 horsepower, and some kind of brutish, angry looks on that 8 Series. BMW M doing their thing. Then over here, we've got the 850i convertible and the 850 CSI behind. I should also add, by the way, there is only one of those in the world, the M8 V12, and that's a prototype of the convertible which never went into series production either. So these are some seriously rare cars that we're looking at here, normally sort of hidden away in BMW's secret parking. I mean, even that, there are only 1,500 of them. So again, pretty special too. But tonight is going to be about the continuation of this story right here on this stage, where we're going to find out a little bit more about that silhouette, what we are looking at, and, well, the luxury sport coupes from BMW. So stay tuned, we will see it very shortly.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the all-new BMW 8 Series concept. Thanks very much for joining us.
So, have you taken it all in? The new BMW 8 Series concept, shown here for the very first time. Now let's go for a walk around of it and show you this new car ahead of the introduction of a production version of the car somewhere in 2018. Now, looking at it, it is stylish, it is sleek, it is luxurious, it is upmarket. The design obviously shows a lot of connection to BMW. There's some hints of i8 in there. There's also some hints of the historical coupe forms in the car as well. We know it's going to be based on the 5 Series, the new 5 Series, so that gives us an option maybe in the future for an M8 version of this, perhaps with that 4.4 litre V8 from the new M5 somewhere
over 600 horsepower potentially. So that's to come in due course. Expect maybe an 840i, an 850i with a 3-litre straight 6, another version of the 4.4 V8 somewhere around 460 horsepower for the 850 should that exist. But it's based on the 5 Series. It has the option for X-Drive or just rear-wheel drive. Different driving modes perhaps in the M version when that comes too. It has the option for rear-wheel steer on the car too. But let's take a look around it. Obviously engine in the front, long sleek bonnet coming down towards these very aggressive front grille.s. If I come in close on those, you can see just quite how large and how sort of forward they are in terms of the angle and styling. So you've got a lot of aggression, a lot of sort of emphasis on that kind of side of things. They say this car is nearly the entire production car, so we'll wait to see what that looks like, but expect it to look very reminiscent of this. Laser lights, the distinctive twin eye design on each side, very aggressive the way it comes down towards the front grille, but laser lights being standard, with the BMW laser logo there etched into the side of them. Those are rather neat, they look very cool actually when you look up close and see all the different lines and shapes going on. But going down from there, you can see all the intakes for the airflow. Obviously with a potential M version it will need lots of cooling. It is a petrol version of the car rather than full electric or even hybrid like the i8, even though there are a number of i8 sort of styling cues in it as we head round. But you've got a very long line across the bonnet to give it a lot of presence. It's running on 21-inch wheels here on Michelin tyres. Now concepts often are launched with rather large wheels. Those might end up a little bit smaller, but they do make quite a sort of statement, shall we say. Outlet there just to release sort of airflow down the side of the car. Now coming to the door mirrors, that's quite interesting. There's a sort of vent on the front of the door mirror, which itself is quite a narrow, sleek design the way it's attached. Presumably on the final car that will have to change for regulation reasons. Coming round towards the rear, very long, sleek line that you can see coming over the roof, down towards the boot lid, giving it that sort of coupe form, extending out the rear, making it have a little bit more presence. And while we're here, we'll also talk about the rear lights as well, possibly flickering away on the video you guys are seeing due to the LED nature of them, but quite a sort of large impact from those. Sitting underneath this sort of slightly duck-tailed spoiler, sort of 2 parts that you can see at the back. But quite a bit of sort of i8 styling, you can almost say, in the rear, above those exhaust pipes with an unusual quad-sided shape on the carbon fibre rear diffuser and more airflow through the back as well. On the inside then, let's first talk about the seats. It is a 4-seater, although not a huge amount of space in the rear. You might have your legs slightly squeezed in there, but this is very, very futuristic. And starting sort of straight from where you enter the door handle, you've got the floating grab handles, carbon fibre, mixed with the speaker embedded there inside that floating element. You've got the carbon sill here extending all the way through and towards the bonnet section as well in the car. Now the steering wheel is very, very jazzy. You've got what looks almost like touch sort of controls around. You've got those red highlights for the shifter paddles and around the sides of the wheel. Lots of carbon through the centre. Fun fact for you, the iDrive controller is actually Swarovski on this. You've got a full digital display, currently running a sort of demonstration program that we can just take a quick glance at with the rev counter sort of up and down either side of the speedometer in the centre. The large iDrive controller obviously in the middle, all positioned slightly over towards the driver. Driving experience, of course. That floating rear view mirror, the way that has sort of borderless design, the way it sticks down and forwards, is quite neat as well. And then the seats finish with a nice quilted design, sort of almost floating. Everything gives this really light atmosphere to it. Carbon fibre back you can see, and around the base as well. And then the pedals with some neat touches on them too, down towards the front. So you can imagine that would be quite a luxurious and comfortable way to be cruising. And in fact, a lot of this car is about the luxuriousness of it. It sort of touches a little bit on the S-Class coupe, the Aston Martins, the Bentleys, that kind of end of luxury car. And in fact, that was a statement BMW made during the presentation about aiming at a more luxurious end of the market, introducing this car, a future X7 SUV, more towards luxury and refinement, well, as well as the wide sort of range of cars they already have. In fact, they said that there'll be even more cars coming out this year than basically ever before. But this is a pretty good way to start. It is a wonderful looking machine, honestly. I think looking around it, I mean, it's a concept. They brought out the i8 concept and managed to bring that to the road very much, looking how the original sort of vision concept did. Hopefully the same can be said about this. Hopefully the new 8 Series can in fact replicate that and launch, well, akin to this car. It's a beautiful thing to look around at. What do you guys think? I I'm rather blown away. It's amazing to be here at the launch, be able to share it with you and show you around it, walk around it, talk about it. I mean, you have distinct BMW features. Everybody knows Hofmeister kink towards the rear of the window. The general shapes are all instantly recognizable. You would realize this car is a BMW with no further prompting. And that sort of identity and dynamics is very much required, and presumably if it has the potential to drive like that new M5 did when I drove that at their testing center, this is going to be quite something special. And no doubt quite exciting when it finally releases too. But if I head back a little bit further past these two, to the V12 beast of the M8, the one-off, the 550 horsepower. Now, we're probably not going to see a V12 in the new car, but it is amazing. 550 horsepower 20-something years ago, and we're talking sort of 600 horsepower potentially in the new car. This thing was an amazing project to have worked on, to have made, and that's what happens when MG MBH were given the sort of reins to try something and see what they could come up with. Just a shame it sort of never got green-lighted as an actual production car. But obviously it would have been quite expensive, quite sort of ahead of its time back then, but this very much sort of setting the tone for what could become with that machine at some point in the next couple of years with an M8 variant, and then going back beyond that as well. The history of BMW, this is quite a special lineup leading towards that new car here at the Villa d'Este launch, the Concorso d'Eleganza. Some beautiful cars to take a look at. Anywho, I think it's probably time for me to head off, sadly, to say goodbye to this car for tonight. Let the other people who are filming with it finish up what they're doing, and we'll head on. Okay, I lied. One last glimpse, because it really is a very pretty car. You've got the sort of classical designs, the innovative styling, as well as the sort of technology on the inside, but it really does look good, and I can't wait to see more of this in the future, and no doubt we will, as this sort of sets the tone for some design from BMW in the future. But on that note, I should probably tear myself away and head on out. Well, that brings tonight to a close, but tomorrow morning I'm going to be jumping on a plane to Frankfurt to drive over to the Nürburgring for the 24-hour race. And along the way we'll be driving some pretty exciting BMW M cars, the M4 CS, the all-new car, the M2 Performance, the M3 30-year edition, and plenty more too. So watch this space, make sure you're following the adventure. The N24 is an amazing weekend, and I can't wait to share it. For coming down here to Villa d'Este to see the new 8 Series concept has been a pretty cool way to start this international trip off. If you like the car, make sure to give the video a like, and obviously be subscribed to follow the rest of this, because it should be pretty good. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm rather tired. I'll get this video up, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers!